Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we're actually going to be doing an update video on Luckin Coffee. Do I think Luckin Coffee is a buy at $4.70? Do I think Luckin Coffee stock can recover? I really do hope to answer all these questions to you guys by the end of the video. Before I start the video, guys, please make sure to leave a like on the video below. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Join the family, guys. Let's go on our investor journey together. So today we're going to be talking about Luckin Coffee. And if you guys don't know what Luckin Coffee actually is, it's a huge coffee chain that's based out of China, right? They were set to rival Starbucks. And if you guys know a little bit of history about Luckin Coffee, they started out pretty strong. They came out pretty fast and they were expanding like crazy. They were expanding all over China and it was actually like pretty incredible. A lot of big time investors behind Luckin Coffee at the time, Goldman Sachs, and all these guys were so surprised at basically the growth that Luckin Coffee was basically going through, right? And you guys have to understand that, China has a huge population and coffee is very popular all over the world. So most people didn't really think anything of it. Come to find out, Muddy Waters actually published a research report on Luckin Coffee, basically saying that they were fabricating a lot of their sales, saying that a lot of their sales were not legit. Came out later that yes, it was true. Luckin Coffee was indeed fabricating their sales. It's estimated to be up to $210 million US, although that number actually has not been confirmed yet. This thing was trading close to $50 a share. If you guys take a look at the 1 year chart, and this thing was doing very, very well for itself, and it was expanding like crazy. And, a lot of people then basically sold all their stake in Luckin Coffee. A lot of the big time investors then, they went through a NASDAQ hearing and then got delisted from the NASDAQ. So if you're on Webull or Robinhood, you actually cannot purchase shares of Luckin Coffee just due to the simple fact that, okay, Luckin Coffee does not trade on the NASDAQ, which is the biggest stock exchange. It actually trades on over the counter. And I like to just clear this misconception up that there's nothing wrong with trading over the counter. A lot of people think that it's a bad thing that stocks trade over the counter. There's a lot of big companies that trade over the counter. So Luckin Coffee basically got hammered for fraud. And a lot of people have been asking, can Luckin Coffee stock actually make a recovery? And I'm here to tell you guys that I actually do think Luckin Coffee stock can make a recovery. And there's a multitude of reasons for that. One, companies can recover from fraud, guys. You have to take a look at so many companies out there that have got caught with fraud. Take a look at Wells Fargo, General Electric, and all these big time companies that got nailed for fraud. They're doing just fine. They're still around. They're still doing business. And there's two huge companies. On top of all that, guys, just because someone commits fraud does not mean that the company cannot change its name, change its brand, and basically prove to investors and to everybody that it's still here to do business, right? There's always going to be corrupt management, guys, but Luckin Coffee has been taking the right steps to recover from this fraud. First thing they did was they cleaned out all the management, right? So all the management that was basically in charge of the whole fraud, stuff like that, basically all got fired, so they swept the management. A lot of people wanted to see that. Another thing that they're doing is they're still expanding, right? They're still selling cups of coffee. They're still open and they're still doing business. Luckin Coffee did not file for bankruptcy. I know a lot of people thought that after the whole fraud incident that Luckin Coffee was going to file for bankruptcy, that Luckin Coffee was done, but they're not. They're still here. They have about $1 billion US dollars in cash, and the stock and the company is still doing pretty well for itself. Despite the fraud in itself, Luckin Coffee is still trying to its best to climb out of this hole. And there's a lot of people out there who are still bullish on Luckin Coffee. I'm still super bullish on Luckin Coffee, and there's many reasons for that. Like I said, they didn't file for bankruptcy. And two, like I said, they're still up, they're still running, they're still selling coffee, and they also cleaned out the whole management, which is basically saying that Luckin Coffee is in the right direction. It made a mistake and is trying to clean its brand name up. I do think Luckin Coffee is a buy at $4.70. Now, obviously, everything I say in my videos, guys, is not investment advice. It's just my personal opinion. But to think that, a huge coffee chain that was once trading at $50 a share and they're still expanding 6,000 plus stores and it's currently sitting at $4.70, you bet that I do think that this is a bargain because I do know that Luckin Coffee stock is going to recover. Although there's no definite time frame on that, Luckin Coffee stock and Luckin Coffee as a company is doing everything it can to climb out of the hole it put itself in, guys. It's still running, it's still working, and it's still trying very, very hard every single day to basically clean its name from the fraud and still do business. And that right there is what makes me super, super bullish, Do I think Luckin Coffee will once again hit $50 one day? I'm not entirely sure, but I do know it's very undervalued right now. I do think it is worth more than $4.70 a share, just based on how big the company it is in itself, how much they're still expanding, and to be like a huge coffee chain that's based out of China, set to rival Starbucks, definitely deserves a price tag more than $4.70. I know that a lot of investors are kind of waiting on right now, guys, is updated financials to see how well the company is actually doing. And this is going to be the biggest key taker away from the Luckin Coffee incident and Luckin Coffee stock in itself. As like I said earlier in the video, the fraud has not been determined. No one knows how much fraud was actually fabricated. No one even knows if Luckin Coffee is profitable as a company. And that's what's going to be very, very important to, see those financials so I can review them and see if the company is still doing well, if the company was profitable before the fraud, and if the company has a good business model and a set base analysis to be able to continue expanding and to continue growing. Because if the company was profitable, it goes to show that, okay, Luckin Coffee is a profitable company. There's a good reason to invest in this company. That in itself is showing if a company is profitable, is always worth the investment, guys. 99% of the time. There's a lot of companies out there that are not profitable all the time and they still get a lot of investments. But if Luckin Coffee stock was profitable, it makes it a worthwhile investment. And I still, like I said, I still think Luckin Coffee can recover from the fraud. And I still think Luckin Coffee is a very good buy right now. I think right now it's just like at a good bargain. Like I said, guys, this thing was trading at $50 a share. And the fact that it's trading at $4.70. And yes, I know it went through a whole fraud scandal. And I know a lot of people are never going to trust Luckin Coffee again or ever put their money in Luckin Coffee. And I'm sorry to, all those out there who did lose a lot of money due to Luckin Coffee, but I still think Luckin Coffee can make a great recovery, and I do think Luckin Coffee is worth the investment at $4.70. A huge coffee chain based out of China with 6,000 plus stores who's still doing business, who clean the management and is trying to clean its brand and its name, goes to show that this thing in itself is worth the investment. There's also rumors that speculate that Luckin Coffee can still be bought out or it can be taken private, which is another few viable options. I don't know if Luckin Coffee is actually going to take that route just yet, but no one really knows where Luckin Coffee is headed, but right now Luckin Coffee is still doing business. If Luckin Coffee were to declare bankruptcy, I'd be making a whole different video, but the fact that they're still up, they still have a decent sized market cap, and they're still trying to expand and come out of the hole they put themselves in, goes to show that Luckin Coffee is trying to really work on itself, and it's really trying to get back on the ground, guys, and set a name for itself and be that big rival to Starbucks in China, right? But with that being said, guys, that's all I really have to say about the video. Let me know down in the comment section below, guys, what you think of Luckin Coffee stock. Do you think Luckin Coffee is worth the investment? Do you guys think Luckin Coffee will ever recover from the fraud? I'm very curious to know your guys' opinions. With that being said, guys, thank you. Have a great day.